Hey y'all, happy MLK Day. It's Monday the 19th of January, and I'm gonna start getting my flowers ready. So I'm in the greenhouse and I'm just mixing up some of my potting mixture, my seed starting mixture, and I got it mixing with water because when you start your seeds, your potting soil needs to be moist because it has like peat moss in it, vermiculite, not necessarily vermiculite, but it has like peat moss and perlite, and cocoa coir, and those are really light mediums. So you got to get them wet so that your seed can stick to it. But what I'm going to do today is, because I have some smaller seeds that I want to plant, I'm actually going to do soil blocking today. And let me get my soil blocks. And I actually have two of them. This one actually has two. This one is actually 5, and you can make soil blocks. This is a little small one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one does 20. So because some of my seeds are small, like celery seeds, some of your flower seeds, dill seeds, you can start them off in this, and then you can get them to grow. And if you want to, you can get them to sprout. And then as they begin to sprout, you can make larger soil blocks like these, and you can take the small ones and sit them inside the large ones, or you could just put them in a seed tray, whichever way you want to go. I actually saw somebody on YouTube, and what they had is that they did their soil blocks in these. And these are just some little trays that I ordered off of Amazon. I'll put the link down in the description below, to include the link for the little soil blockers. I had this one last year, and it needs to be cleaned, but it's really good. I liked it. I was able to just make my blocks, and that also reduces the use of plastic trays that you have. Like I have these trays, and this one needs to be clean. And if you don't maintain them, like I really didn't maintain them the way they were supposed to be maintained, so they started breaking off on the edges like this because they were in the back, they were in the elements, and that was a problem. So you have to make sure that you keep your stuff out the elements. But let's go ahead on, let's get ready to do this. So I'm mixing my stuff. It's still kind of wetter than I would want it to be. So with that being said, let me show you what it looks like. Let me adjust my camera because technology is not everybody's strong point. So this is kind of what it looks like. And you can see it's still water in there. And I just got an old flower pot that's gonna have flowers in it later on. It doesn't have a hole at the bottom right now, which is why the water is able to sit at the bottom. But I think this might be okay. Let me sprinkle just a little more and see what happens, because you want it to be able to like form a ball, not necessarily a ball, but you want it to be able to form and hold itself together. And if y'all look, I got my lights up here hanging. My husband put in a solar generator system for me, which is going to power my lights and my heating mats that I have in the greenhouse this year, because we got a greenhouse last year, and I told him, I said, well, if we get the greenhouse, then I can start all my seeds outside. I won't have to take over the garage. Because last year I had the entire garage. We have a 3-car garage. I had 2 bays of the 3-car garage starting out plants. So let's see how this is going to work out. This looks like it's still kind of wet for me. Let me get some more dirt. But I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to start my flowers and stuff. I'm going to start some tomatoes. Not today, but in the next week or so, I'm going to start some peppers, because you know that takes a long time for those items to kind of grow and get started. And the thing about being in Central Texas is that our summers are miserable down here for vegetable gardening. It gets really hot, and you know, tomatoes won't produce once it gets to be a certain temperature. So in order to get a production on tomatoes, you got to kind of start them out early. Peppers just take so long to grow, so you got to start those out early, so that by the time the heat really hits Texas, you've already got a start that you can actually work with. Or you can go like I used to do and go to the big box stores, and you can buy your peppers, because you know you have to look at it. But as I've gotten more into my gardening, I have started to save seeds, and it's just a thrill when you know that you actually planted something in the dirt and you get to watch it grow. That's just exciting. It's exciting to me. You know, everybody doesn't feel that it's exciting, but it's exciting to me. So that's done. So one thing that I did this year, because again, I'm on YouTube just like y'all. I be watching people on YouTube. Somebody made all of their tags for their flowers and stuff, right? Which is cool. But what they did, and I had done this in the past, which is to make the simple little labels. But what they did was actually attach the label to the packet with a paper clip. How cool is that? So now that way, when I get ready to plant, I already have my label made, because I had a bad habit of saying, oh, I'll remember what that is over there. I'll remember what that is. I got some brassicas growing over on the other side of the yard. I don't know if it's cabbage. I don't know if it's greens. I don't know if it's a freaking broccoli. But I do know one thing. We're going to find out what it is when it finally finishes sprouting. So, yeah, I'm going to start all of these. I did some research yesterday to try and find out what wasn't good to have around pets and everything, because I do have pets. And so I don't want my pets to accidentally ingest anything that they shouldn't have. So I got cosmos, petunias. I got some thyme, lavender, parsley, chamomile, poppies, catnip for my cat. Some black-eyed Susans. So yeah, we're going to get started on all of that. And honestly, I can't tell you for sure what's a small seed off the top of my head. I don't want that right now. I do want that, but I don't want that right now. I can't tell you what's a small seed off the top of my head. So what I have to do, which is probably cool, like this is a version of a bee balm. So Morada Bergamot, and this is by Baker Creek. So let's see. I think this is a relatively small seed. Yeah, this is a small seed. I don't know if you can see them. And my hands are ashy, which is really not making it any better. But that's a really tiny seed. So this is the type of seed that you would start in the little soil block like this. So let me put this back in here. And what I'm going to do is make my blocks. I'm going to just dump some dirt in this. And this little silver tin right here, because last year I had a big bucket that I used. Don't ask me where my bucket is, because I've been through so much. I don't know where their bucket is right now. So, I normally plant a lot of vegetables, and I'm still going to plant a lot of vegetables, but this year I also wanted to plant a lot of flowers too, because I want the pollinators to come into my garden. You know, because the pollinators are what come in and they spread the pollen from one flower to another flower. They eat the little bad animals that we have over there, the little bad pests and stuff, you know. Because nobody wants to have the worms over there or all the moths flying around eating up the food before you can get to the food. You know, so that's the whole thing. So let's try this. So to use one of these little soil blocker, you just take it and you push it in. And the whole thing is that you try and get it full with dirt. Okay? So wobble it in. And it's not filling up the way I want it, but that's okay. So we're just gonna go back to the drawing board. We're gonna get this little joker packed, because I want soil all the way into it. And once I get it packed down, I keep turning on this light, and I don't want this light on. So like I said, you got to get it full. And when you get it full that looks like this, then you can just take it and put it in a tray. Like so. And if you notice, it has this handle and it has a handle right here. So I have it down and I'm just going to press and lift all at the same time. And you make this cute little blocks. So I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to redo this again. Again, I'm just going to fill it up till I get enough dirt in here. Be careful not to press this part down while you're filling it up, because guess what you're going to do? You're going to put out all the blocks like I just did right there. So every block I just added, I just emptied out of it. It's a learning process. You just got to be patient. And then sometimes I just do this too. I ain't going to even lie. Just spread it like peanut butter. Spread it like you're putting something on some bread. And get them blocks full. Because you got to level it out anyway. I know this is not the way it was designed, but guess what? Sometimes you got to go against the way stuff was designed. And you got to make it work the way you need it to work for what you need it to work for. And I can tell my soil is good and it's going to hold because I still have moisture in my soil, which is a good thing. But not too much moisture. I got one side that just won't fill for anything. So again, it's full. I'm just going to slide the excess off. And this is nothing but a paint stick. I ordered these from Amazon too. So again, got my little tray. I'll sit it down. So what you do, you press and lift all at the same time. And you have your little soil blocks. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead on and finish making this whole little tray of soil blocks, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got my soil blocks made, and I'm gonna go ahead on and we're gonna get these planted. And again, like I said, I think this is a version of like a bee balm, and the seeds are like super tiny. And I know that there's an easier way to do this, but I don't know what way. So I'm dropping like 1 to 2 seeds on here, because with this seed, the light aids in the germination of the seed. And I will be honest, because the seed is so small, I might be missing some. but that's okay. So let me go ahead on and put my tag. And I done lost the tag already. Ain't that something? So I got my little tag with the name and the date that it was actually planted. So that way I'll know when it should be ready to harvest. Cosmos seeds feel kind of big. Straw flowers. This would be pretty. So let's see how tiny these flowers are. How tiny these seeds are. And then that'll determine. These aren't too bad. But I'm going to go ahead on and plant them in here as well. I don't know if you could see them. So they aren't too bad. But again, we're going to do like 1 to 2 seeds. So I can get my flowers growing. And I need to read because I'm not sure if this one needs light as well. If it doesn't need light, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of vermiculite and I'll spray it over the top of it. And I have an area right outside of my garden area where I think I'm going to put these. And then I also have some green stalk towers. And I'm going to plant some of these flowers in my green stalk as well. So I can have flowers all around. Now let me see something really quickly. Cover with a 1/4 inch of fine soil. So I'm gonna put some vermiculite on it, and we're gonna call it a day. Where is the vermiculite? There it is. Y'all see all my little mixing cups and table cups and everything? I needed these last year, and my husband went to our local grocery store, HEB, which is probably one of the best grocery stores in Texas. And they had these little cups with the little matching spoons. I fell in love. I was like, oh, these are so cute. Thank you for getting me these. Used them. Use them. Continuously uses them. So I'm just going to scoop me up just a little bit of vermiculite since it aids, since it needs to have some sun. Just a little bit of light. I'm just going to spray it a little bit. Even though this one said with soil, I'm going to put just a little bit of vermiculite over it. And we're going to call that a day. So, with that being said, I will say this, because it's been a whole probably 15-20 minutes that I've talked. I will say thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to get the rest of this stuff planted, hopefully today, because all the tags are made for today. But if I don't get it done today, I will definitely get it done tomorrow, because I need to get ready to plant the rest of my stuff. Like I said, I need to get tomatoes started. I need to get my peppers started. I want to do a round of peas before it gets really hot. And plus, doing with the peas, if I do them now, by the time it gets hot, by the time I get ready to to start picking them, it'll be warm enough in the springtime that I can actually cut them back, let the roots and everything kind of break down for a couple of weeks before I have to put tomatoes and everything else in the ground. So yeah, it's a process. I didn't realize it was so much of a process when I decided I was going to do my own gardening. But I will say this, it has been very beneficial. It's very calming when you get out and you do it. But you just really have to have a plan. In the years past, I didn't have a plan. I would just go out there and it was like, oh, here's an empty spot, stick this here. Oh, here's an empty spot, stick that there. And that doesn't always necessarily work. So this year I'm being more intentional about what I'm planting. I'm being more intentional about where I'm planting it at. I'm getting a lot of companion planting. So like I said earlier, so you can have your beneficial bugs eat, you know, the pests that you don't want around. So I'm doing a lot of that. I'm staying up on my fertilization of my plants that I currently have in the ground. So right now I have some collard greens in the ground. I have onions in. I have celery that I've already started. I have broccoli. I have a couple of cabbages that I've already started. So I have to stay up on the fertilization, because that was one thing too. I just automatically thought plants would set it and forget it. Put it in the dirt, let the dirt do what it is. God's gonna take care of it. Yes, God will take care of it, but sometimes He puts it on you to go out there for you to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we all know the Bible says, oh, I keep flipping this switch for these lights. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to do a video on my greenhouse lights. Because, you know, God says, you know, you gotta work. Person, He don't say it like this. This is my words. So let me not put this on God. You got to work to eat. You just can't eat for free. I don't care how much you want to. You got to do some work. And this is some work being a gardener, but I love it. At this point in my life, I don't think I would trade it for anything in the world. So, with that being said, let me get out of here. Let me finish planting all of this stuff over here that I committed myself to. That's the thing. I committed myself, so I gotta do it. But yeah. But again, thanks for helping. Thanks for hanging out with me for these past couple of minutes. I'm going to keep y'all updated on what's going on. You know, you see I got me some new hair looking like little strings. I went and got me some micro locks about a month ago. So I'm due for my first retie. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. You guys have a great day. Wherever you are, if the weather is good, get out and enjoy the weather. For the people on the East Coast, I'm sorry it's so cold out there right now, but it's going to be okay. So, peace.